Good afternoon, everybody. I just realized something just happened for the very first time in my career. I was actually dancing to the intro music of this podcast. I think I should be fined. I'm going to go ahead and send you each $25 for my behavior. Why am I dancing to the intro? Man, somebody slap me. Hey, my name's Terry Daniel, and I'm a voice actor here in Minneapolis. I have a cute little studio in my St. Louis Park basement, and I've been doing this all together since about 1989. My first demo, as a matter of fact, which, God, I would love to get a hold of that cassette. It was pretty god-awful, and it was about 5 minutes long. You know, back then in the late 80s, we used to just put whatever we could think of on both sides of a cassette. Commercials, narrations, snippets from audiobooks, on-hold messaging, whatever we could think of, we would just throw on the demo. And it's really become more of an art form these days, and that's basically what I want to talk about for about 10 minutes today. What makes a good voiceover demo, and sometimes, why the hell they cost so much. Voiceover demos, at least the way I do them, and I know many colleagues in my industry also produce them and do an absolute killer job doing them. Demos have to be talent agency ready. And what I mean by that, you can't just throw a bunch of stuff, into Adobe Audition, Pro Tools, throw a little music on there and send it off to the talent. I mean, this is kind of, a demo producer is almost like a painter who is creating a painting using multiple colors, multiple brushes to try to get the painting A1 so it gets accepted into a museum. Maybe that's kind of a silly analogy, but in many ways it's the truth. And it's something that doesn't just take 10 minutes. It's something that doesn't take an hour. I mean, sometimes I spend weeks on a demo, just working through different clips, adding different music, which, by the way, demo producers, for the most part, pay for the royalty-free music that they use on your demo. And sometimes that doesn't come cheap. So if you're an eye roller and you're rolling your eyes at the fee of a demo, keep in mind the investment that a demo producer has to make up front. Most of the time, at least in my case, I book the studio and I also pay for the studio time. So there are several costs that are allocated into the preparation of a demo. We're living in the era now where the attention span is that of an ant. It's not much bigger than that, and anybody in the creative industry will admit that. Everybody's in a hurry. Everybody's taking on more and more stuff. We're running out of time. It's not a very healthy state of mind to be in. But talent agencies, producers, they don't have all the time in the world to sit and listen through a 2-minute demo. It's just not going to be the case anymore. So the agency standard demo really has to be about 60 seconds long with about 5 or 6 clips on it, showing your range, showing a lot of different variety. Variety is absolute key on a demo. You do not want every clip on the demo to sound exactly the same. I hear a lot of demos on all these pay-to-play sites, and while there's some very good ones, there's also a lot of below average demo where they might as well have been reading from the same script because every clip on the demo sounds exactly the same. And this is something where a voiceover coach can really help you with. Self-made demos are, in my opinion, the kiss of death. Talent agencies will know within the first few seconds if you just tried to throw something together yourself. If you're a pro and a pretty damn good engineer and you've been in the industry for a long time, then this particular sermon doesn't necessarily speak to you because then, you're probably fairly qualified to do your own demo. Although it's always a good idea, no matter if you've, got 10, 20, 30 years of experience, to have another set of ears to direct you during the session. A friend of mine, Joe Cipriano, who's a big powerhouse promo guy in L.A., I mean, he had a coach direct his own audiobook session, and he wrote the damn book. So it's always a good idea to have a second set of ears. Every clip on a commercial demo should actually sound like a real commercial. I mean, if you're brand new at VoiceOver, obviously you haven't booked anything yet, so the commercials aren't real. But we have to kind of fake it until you get enough experience where your demo will eventually consist of actual commercials that you've done. But again, when you're first starting, we have to come as close as we can to that as possible. So every clip on the demo should sound like a real spot. Let me go back to variety for just a second here. Maybe the first clip is something kind of warm and folksy. Maybe the second clip is something fairly energetic. Maybe the third clip is kind of dry and tongue-in-cheek, smart-ass-ish, if you will. You know, these are all keys to a really, really good demo. Another thing I hear online a lot is I hear demos with outdated music. You know, I don't want to hear, an 80s synthesizer in the background of some, auto commercial or whatever. But, so that's something a good demo producer is always on top of it with music. And again, they have to pay for the music too. And sometimes that just does not come cheap. Let's talk about multiple demos. How many do you need? It seems like, a lot of niche demos are being produced these days where somebody will have an on-hold demo, a commercial demo, a narration demo, an audiobook demo. Even the narration demos are starting to be kind of split off into niche-like demos, like a corporate demo, e-learning demo, documentary demo, medical demo. The two main powerhouses are still to this date a commercial and narration demo. Most talent agencies it's a prerequisite that you have both. They want the educational stuff on one, and the commercially, is commercially a word? Well, it is today. That needs to go on a separate demo. So with back to the demo producer thing, sometimes you might kind of frown or roll your eyes at the quote that a demo producer might give you, but keep in mind again, how much time an artist goes into creating a painting. They're not just going to throw it together and put it out there. Sometimes this takes weeks, sometimes months to come up with something that is absolutely A1. Now, with anything else, just like coaching or anything you get into, it's always this is a no-brainer, but it's always a great idea to do some research on the person that you're going to work with. Because, of course, we've got the demo mills out there where they work with 1,000 people and, everybody's reading from the same scripts and everybody's demos are kind of blending together. You want a demo that is yours. You want a demo that is based on your niche and your skill set and your ability. You want to own it. You don't want to read 7 scripts that, 500 other people have done across the country. It's got to be an original kind of thing. Just like, musicians who are recording an album, they don't want their album to sound like, 5,000 other albums that are out there. They want to be identified as, I almost said the Soup Dragons. They were a great band in the 90s. I think I just gave away my age. Imagine Dragons was the name of the band I was actually trying to think of. Or Coldplay or some of these popular bands that are around today, they want that original sound. And this isn't something that, they don't go into a studio and all of a sudden the album's done like 48 hours later. Demos are, it's artwork. And that's why sometimes it can be, an investment for a qualified voiceover coach to put one together for you. So keep in mind, I hope this sermon was somewhat helpful. I kind of raced through a lot of the information, but I do get a lot of questions via email. And also, people call me up and say, well, what goes into a demo? I think I want to try to do this and I want to try to make one. Can I send you a few files and can you just throw some music on there? Well, I won't do that for anybody. There are no shortcuts when it comes to a kick-ass demo. If you're passionate and serious about getting one made, then A, you have to make the investment. There's really no way around that. And you have to be patient as well. You have to give your demo producer plenty of time to make it right. And sometimes there's even some tweaks and revisions that come with this. I've actually sent people back to the studio because, my perfectionist brain wasn't 100% ecstatic about what I had. So sometimes we'll just go in and do just a few redos. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that it's great. And a voiceover demo should be great because the ultimate goal is to get on, a few different talent agency rosters. And if you're having it on your website, you want it to be a professional presentation of everything that you can do as a voice actor. So I hope this is helpful. Have a great day, everybody, and I will talk to you sooner than later. And please, for the love of God, rock the mic.